Before the sun reaches the forest floor, the world is already awake. Hidden within Australia's ancient forests, thousands of stories begin with a sound, a warning, a message, a call searching for an answer. But sometimes the forest tells a story that should not exist. A camera shutter echoes through the trees. A chainsaw seems to cut through the silence. Then another bird answers from somewhere deep in the forest. Everything sounds real, yet something is impossible. There is no photographer, no machine, no flock of birds hiding in the leaves. So where are these sounds coming from? The answer is one of nature's greatest performers, the superb lyrebird. Found only in the forests of southeastern Australia, it is one of the greatest vocal mimics in the animal kingdom, capable of recreating many of the sounds around it with astonishing accuracy. But its greatest secret isn't that it can imitate. The real mystery is why. Why would evolution create an animal that spends its life collecting the voices of the world around it? To understand the lyrebird, we must first understand the forest it calls home. Here, in the forests of southeastern Australia, lives one of the most remarkable birds on Earth. Large enough to be noticed, secretive enough to disappear. Many people hear a lyrebird long before they ever see one. Unlike many birds that spend their lives in the trees, the lyrebird belongs to the forest floor. With powerful legs and sharp claws, it searches beneath fallen leaves for insects, spiders, and other hidden creatures. Its ancestors have lived in Australia for millions of years. Generation after generation, evolution shaped a bird designed to move quietly, listen carefully, and remember. But nothing captures the imagination quite like the tail of the male. Two elegant feathers curve outward like the strings of an ancient musical instrument, the shape that gave the bird its name. It isn't built for speed. It isn't meant for defense. It has one purpose: to be noticed. Before he performs, the male carefully clears a stage on the forest floor. Every movement has a purpose. Every feather has a role. This is not simply a song. It is a performance. The tail rises. The forest falls silent. One note, then another. Another bird seems to answer. The forest appears to come alive. But there is only one performer. At first, this looks like simple imitation. It isn't. A young lyrebird isn't born knowing these sounds. Like a child learning a language, it builds its voice by listening. Every day the forest becomes its classroom. Birds, wind, rain, flowing water, insects. Every encounter becomes another lesson. Imagine carrying a library, not of books, but of voices, collected one sound at a time. The lyrebird doesn't simply repeat what it hears. It carries pieces of its world inside its memory. Every performance becomes a living record of the forest where that bird grew up. And because every forest sounds different, different lyrebirds develop different musical identities. The lyrebird reveals something remarkable. Animals are not simply living in their environments. They are shaped by them. The forest creates the song, and the lyrebird carries it forward. But why collect hundreds of sounds? Why spend years perfecting a performance? The answer lies in the most important performance of its life. For years, the lyrebird listens, learns, practices, building a performance unlike anything else in the forest. Because in nature, beauty often has a purpose. Every male faces the same challenge: to be chosen. Before the audience arrives, he prepares his stage. Then the tail rises. The feathers spread. The forest becomes a theater. To human ears, it sounds like an astonishing collection of voices. But to another lyrebird, it carries a message about health, experience, skill, and the ability to survive. For thousands of years, the lyrebird listened to a world created by nature. The calls of birds, the rhythm of rain, the wind moving through ancient trees. Then the forest changed. Roads appeared. Machines arrived. New sounds filled the landscape. Sounds evolution had never heard before. Some lyrebirds have become famous for reproducing sounds that seem impossible in a forest. A camera shutter, machinery, even human activity. But the lyrebird isn't trying to imitate us. It isn't making a statement. It is simply doing what it has always done, listening to its world. For the lyrebird, every sound is information. A changing forest creates a changing library. And that raises an important question. What happens when the voices of the forest begin to disappear? The lyrebird's greatest gift depends on one thing: a world worth listening to. Protecting the lyrebird isn't only about protecting one remarkable bird. It's about protecting the entire conversation happening around it. At the beginning, The sounds of this forest seemed impossible. Now they tell a different story. The lyrebird was never trying to become another bird. It was preserving the voices of the forest it calls home. Every sound it carries represents a moment, a place, a memory. Millions of years of evolution created an animal that discovered a different way to survive. Not by being the strongest, not by being the fastest, but by listening. Perhaps the lyrebird teaches us something we have forgotten. The natural world is not silent. We are simply not always listening. Deep inside Australia's forests, one bird continues to gather the voices of the world around it. A living archive, a performer, a listener. And perhaps its greatest mystery is not that it can imitate the forest. It is that after millions of years, the forest found a way to speak through it. The forest has a voice, and the lyrebird remembers it.